like they say, here we go again. But every time we go again, it seems we seem to hit on something positive, and that's what's important.
This is Building Community, Chester Housing Authority's online platform for staying in touch with our residents, our stakeholders in the community of Chester. We're glad to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Steve Fischer, as you all know, is the Executive Director of the Housing Authority. And Steve, once again, man, another something special from the Housing Authority, something, an offering that does not necessarily have to be on one hand, but one of those things that the Housing Authority does over and over again to make the Housing Authority's value to its residents and its community stronger and stronger every time. What was your thinking about pulling this in, Steve?
Well, it seems like over the years, we've become the teaching housing authority. Because whenever there are opportunities to find funding for educational programs, we seem to not be able to help ourselves, and we jump for them. In this case, Marrea, who's been working with us on numerous fronts the past few years, spotted an opportunity to get some funding to start up an initiative like the one we're going to talk about today. And I'm not going to do most of the talking about it. I want the people who are going to actually implement the program to tell us about it. But yet again, another way to engage with our residents, other than the traditional landlord-tenant relationship. So I guess, like they say, here we go again. But every time we go again, it seems we seem to hit on something positive, and that's what's important.
And Marrea, I can't say thank you enough, and congratulations. And you've done so much fantastic work with the Housing Authority for the residents of the Housing Authority that nobody should be surprised when you come on screen and you've got yet another innovative idea. And this one actually has the term innovation in it.
Thank you so much for, providing us this opportunity to talk about actually the first Entrepreneur Innovation Center that we have in the city of Chester.
What is an Entrepreneur Innovation Center?
So an Entrepreneur Innovation Center is it's a space where entrepreneurs and people that are looking to gain other skills to springboard their careers can actually come and learn innovative cutting edge technology and business development types of activities.
And this is going to be happening at the Booker T. Washington Center. I don't think we mentioned that yet, but this is going to be happening right there at 611 Central Avenue, Booker T. Washington Center. I'd say one of the best spaces to do this in the city of Chester. It's accessible. It's right there in one of our neighborhoods.
I'd like to introduce you to the team that has been working probably since January or so on this specific project. And, they're really a great, talented group of young men. And, what I like most about them is that, they also have the passion for Chester that, that I also have as well. So Jack Shaw, who served as the, president of operations for the project, kind of leading the project. Jason Dart is the vice president of more of the technology and podcasting area. Chase Kim is the vice president of the marketing and business development concepts. And Mark Bennett is the vice president of the finance education programs that we plan to offer here.
Jason Dart is catching my attention because he is bouncing his head like this with everything you say. He's doing like this. And as I look at his title, I see that he's the vice president of music production and podcast. So maybe he's keeping a beat as you're talking. I don't know. But Jason, welcome. What is your thinking about why this is important, and what are you hoping to bring to this project?
Yeah, so I believe that this allows people to express themselves. This center will allow like people who are part of the Chester Housing Authority to come in and express themselves either through music or podcasting or any way they want to learn like new ways to kickstart a business or anything of that. But yeah, I'm in control of the music and podcasting studios, so I'm basically I just want to provide them the proper equipment that they can fully express themselves to the best of their abilities.
I wanted to also talk a little bit about why podcasts and all are important, because, you know, it provides people with an opportunity to generate revenue as well, right? And, you know, I watch on Facebook and all the time. I see a lot of these videos go viral and people have these, you know, podcasts and stuff. And, you know, I'm like, well, I wonder if they're really capitalizing on those, right? Are they generating any revenue? Do they know how to generate revenue? And so I think that's the other piece to it, not just the technology piece of that, but, you know, how can you, you know, make money off of this? Because we know that there is definitely a market for that, and that there's a lot of people, you know, that are doing that because, you know, it's global, you know, so anytime we're talking about that, and that's just another kind of e-commerce model that, you know, we also strive to share in this Entrepreneur Innovation Center.
James Kim, who's the vice president of marketing. What is a vice president of marketing? And I see it's James here, but I see they call you Chase.
Yeah, legally my name is James, but go by Chase.
Okay, so we're going with Chase. All right.
Yeah. Kind of something that you touched on that I really thought about was how it's in the middle of your neighborhood. And I think that one of the biggest parts about this, obviously it's in the title innovation, is that there's not necessarily a convenient place for people to get their businesses or their music careers or their podcast careers off the ground in Chester. And being able to place it right in the middle of the city where it's convenient for everyone, where everyone can access it, it allows them to kind of get off the ground, and they're not just going in blind. Like there's people there to assist them and help guide them in their future. People can come in there even if they're advanced and want to grow their podcasts and want to just continue to do it, or maybe want to continue music production and aren't at a convenient place right now. We're giving them a place in their own neighborhood, you know, their own people, to be able to build their brands, their businesses all together without trying to go out of their way and using expenses that they might not have at this certain time. So we're putting it right in front of them and really making it more accessible so people in Chester can really innovate for themselves and grow their own brand or brands with other people as well.
All right, we're going to move over to our vice president of finance and education. That's Mr. Mark Bennett. Mr. Bennett, welcome, sir. What are you hoping to bring to this project?
Yeah, so my goal here is just to provide finance education in like a fun way, as well as some activities, right? So we have like some stock market education is one of the plans. And just sort of personal finance, just because that's something that's relevant to everybody, right? You know, some people might want to go into a career with finance, but everybody, you know, finance is relevant to everybody, just from their personal money management, their spending, you know, spending on credit, all of these things are just, I know the Chester Housing Authority provides financial support, housing support, obviously. So that's very relevant to what you all are doing there. And so I just want to, you know, support that in the best way I can and just provide like an engaging way of providing that education.
Well, I have a follow-up for Mark. So I saw some pictures today of a ticker tape that's going to be put up in the Booker. Kind of like that's what they view at the stock market. Is that right?
Correct.
So is this thing going to be real, or it's just a facsimile of one, or is that going to be the actual live reports from the stock market?
Yeah, so our goal is to make it as real as possible. So having like real stock prices there is obviously is our goal. It's what we're planning on doing. And just providing as like real of a sort of education as possible, like learning through doing, right? So we can have, you know, investing like games, like stock market games. I know Wall Street Journal has a market watch game, which we're looking into, just to have real investment options. And so they can sort of track those investments and their growth, you know, and look at it in terms of like really what's going on.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
Steve, I wanted to talk a little bit about that too, because that was basically a last minute addition to the Entrepreneur Innovation Center. And so, you know, it is the ticker that you're showing. We have a data plan that will be with that, which will allow us for at least the first year or two to basically have it, you know, mimic the actual stock market. And so obviously it can't show all of the stocks and stuff that's on the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange and all, but, you know, it will show many of them. And one of the projects that we're hoping to work on with the students is that there is something called the stock market game that, you know, many of them know. I've done that before. And so the students will get, the participants may get $50,000 in, you know, simulated money or something, and get a chance to go into and purchase different stocks and learn how to read a stock table, right? So, you know, I think that's very important, even as adults. And I tell people all the time, you know, it was years before I even understood any of these concepts, because I didn't grow up in an environment where any of this was important. And so, you know, the mere fact of being able to read a stock table and to learn about investing is going to be, you know, very critical. What are mutual funds? You know, what are shares? How do you purchase these? What's going on with the PE and all of these terminologies and stuff that you see when you turn on CNN in the morning. You know, I'd love to one day hear a success story that someone says, oh yeah, I was watching CNN and I understood what they were saying, right? And so that will be, you know, some of our goals as well.
I'm overall the president of operations of the Entrepreneurial Innovation Center, but really I am the head of the all-purpose room. So along with Mark, who's really going to direct the financial services lab, which they can learn financial literacy, financial modeling, and obviously look at the market ticker that we are adding. So this room will also contain like apparel design in the form of like Cricut machines and heat presses, as I'm sure you saw on the question sheet, as well as 3D printers and normal printers where they can innovate and make their own products. And then there will also be a photography booth. I think photography and video editing in general is very important for the residents of Chester, because I mean, first of all, like marketing, which is Chase's job, you can edit and design pictures, even spreading through word of mouth or through the media. You need to be able to have some element of graphic design where you can design these pictures, and also maybe making promotional videos for your entrepreneurial desires. So that's really my role, on top of directing operations as a whole. So everything really with all three rooms will go through me, but I'm mainly focused on the all-purpose room.
Steve, what I love about this, man, is that we're talking to four young, relatively young people, and we've got a lot of young folks in the Chester Housing Authority. And again, right there in that community, young folks, especially, you know what I love about this also, Marrea, is that springtime is coming around. Summertime is coming around. People are looking for stuff to do. And this isn't just busy work. This is almost like finding a job, right? It's like on the job training. Steve,
Right.
what are you thinking as you're listening to these gentlemen talk about their plans?
Every time we have a partnership with some educational institution, whether it be a high school or a college, what the community sees is an immediate benefit. Just forget about what the exact nature of the program might happen to be, but it's just the interaction between our young people and students from another community, students, you know, who have enjoyed success in their education, just, you know, sharing experiences and knowledge with each other. So, you know, right off the bat, you have that benefit. And then, of course, you move on to the actual subject of the initiative.